Hello and welcome to another Tabletop Games Blog Saturday review.
The sun blazes over the wasteland as your tribe fights for survival, its fate tied to 3 fragile camps, and its lifeblood measured in precious drops of water. A single rival warband looms on the horizon ready to strike. You need to be ready to fight and unleash chaos. Every drop of water spent is a gamble, a step toward victory or ruin. When the dust settles, only one tribe will remain in the desolate.
Radlands by Daniel Pichnik from Roxy Games, with illustrations from Delia Arnona, Lina Cosette, Damien Mamoliti and Manny Tremblay. Think Mad Max and you're probably very close to the feeling that Radlands is trying to evoke. However, rather than biker gangs and road warriors roaming the deserted highways of post-apocalyptic Australia, in this lane battler everything evolves around the people and your 3 camps. If you've never played a lane battler before, think of a more traditional 2-player card battling game such as Keyforge, and imagine it being played in a number of parallel lanes. While in Keyforge you play cards to the left or the right of your battle line, in Radlands you add cards to one of the 3 camp columns. Every additional card goes in front of those that are already there, lengthening the column. Every additional card provides additional protection for the relevant camp, while also giving it extra firepower. Getting the right balance is important, because as soon as a player's 3rd camp has been destroyed, they lose. The game starts relatively slowly. Neither you nor your mortal enemy is strong enough to be a threat, so you can happily focus on getting your camp in order. While everything you do costs water, and water is terribly scarce, it's still relatively easy to build up your attack force and line up your human shields. Life is still fairly good. Yet you only ever have 3 water droplets to spend each turn. As the game progresses, these few droplets of water no longer seem to be anywhere near enough. You really start to feel how little water there is and how absolutely vital it is. Prioritizing your actions becomes critical, but deciding what is more important is terribly difficult. Some of the more impactful things you can do cost more water, but that means not having enough water to do something else that is also hugely important. Each time you assign a droplet token to a card, you feel another bead of sweat forming on your forehead, because you know that if you got your calculations wrong, this could be the bitter end. The stress levels constantly increase. It gets worse when your enemy launches a ruthless attack and decimates your team, leaving one of your camps dangerously exposed. That's when you have to make a choice. Immediately retaliate in the hope that your opponent won't be strong enough to destroy your wide open camp, or bring in reinforcements to shore up your defenses with human shields. Sometimes your hand of cards will make a decision for you and forces you to risk it all. That's what makes Radlands such an exciting and enjoyably infuriating game. The scarcity of water, managing your hand and your camps, and hoping that you can time everything just right to make the final blow that kills the enemy, or at least stave off another attack and last another round, work wonderfully together. You feel the hot sun on your body and the sweat on your brow. To add another level of tension, you can play events. They can be amazingly powerful and devastating to your enemy, but they go off with a time delay, which gives your opponent time to prepare. Events need to be timed perfectly to be effective, otherwise they can be just another waste of your precious water. Get it right though and it feels amazing. Either way, events usually put the fear of the water gods into your nemesis and will leave them to scramble for cover. Radlands has more to offer though. The camps themselves have unique powers, some of them absolutely crazy. So while the events are already amazing, camps can help turn the tide. Just imagine having a nuclear reactor as one of your camps that can intentionally blow up, killing everyone on the battlefield, your own fighters as well as the enemies. Sure, you're one camp down, but if you're faced with an immense attack force and your own team is down to 1 or 2 people, this last resort self-destruct action will give you at least one more round to fight back. There's one more thing that makes Radlands my favourite 2-player card battling game, and that is its length. It takes less than an hour to set up and play this game. At the same time, you get an amazingly crazy experience where every card is absolutely ludicrous, with plenty of combo potential, but ridiculously limited resources. It's about the survival of the camps and people are expendable. After all, life expectancy is already low, given how little water there is. So everyone knows they need to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. There's so much gameplay in this tiny box already, but if you do get bored with it, there's an expansion that can give you more variety if you really want it. Personally, I'm super happy with the base game. It's so much fun blowing up my reactor to wipe everyone off the table, then destroy my construction yard to repair the reactor for another chance to clear the battlefield a second time. So, if you fancy yourself a Mad Max and want to see how well you can lead 3 camps of misfits, mercenaries and simple fighters to victory without running out of water at crucial moments, then Radlands is for you.
Thank you for listening to this Tabletop Games Blog's Saturday Review podcast. Please check the description below for links mentioned in this episode, as well as to the written version of this article on the blog. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, give us some stars or leave a review. Please also tell your friends about me, and if you want to offer financial support, check out my Patreon and Ko-fi pages, links to which you'll find in the blog at tabletopgamesblog.com. So thank you again for listening, and I hope to see you again soon.
This podcast was made possible by the generous help of my supporters. Royal Patron Sean Newman, Magic Champion John Risley, Castle Guards David Miller and James Naylor, Dice Masters Alex Bardi, Paul Grogan and Robin Kay, and Shining Lights Jacob Davis, Gavin Jones, Sarah Reed and Richard Simpson.